Okay. Took me a second to start streaming because I knocked some pencils against that were propped up on the table. I really need to find a new home for my pencils, man. Real fast, I'm just going to make sure peeps on Discord know that I am streaming. They already have the link to my live streams, so. And I will figure out on the technical end, connecting OBS to YouTube and streaming at least every once in a while on YouTube so that I'm not just Twitch exclusive. Because I would like to get back to streaming on YouTube again. YouTube actually has more subscribers than my Twitch channel, so might as well take advantage of that, you know? Anyways, there's also been a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but I'll get to that here in a bit. Come on. Oh, that's weird. Okay, the Discord app on my phone is not working. Hello, I see that Jessica is in the chat. Thank you for joining. I don't know what's going on with Discord on my phone, but, you know, Jessica's here. I'll take that as a win. Carlos will join in whenever Carlos can join in. I have my cookies. I have my tea. Today's tea selection is decaf Earl Grey with a touch of honey on the bottom. I also have some room temperature water. And I had lunch before I started streaming. Today was one of those days where I was like, I'm not that hungry, but I should probably eat something before starting my stream. And then I had a bowl of chili, and then I went, I must eat everything within a 5-mile radius. So I ate a lot more than just the bowl of chili with hot sauce crema and toast with butter. And I also had like a bunch of snacks, some like button tomatoes, which if you don't know, button tomatoes are apparently a Wisconsin thing, and they're tomatoes that are like all of this big. They're adorable and delicious. But yeah, I was just like num 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 for like, I don't know, 10-20 minutes before streaming. Okay, let's get to it. Hello, my name is Kelsey. I make comics and art, and today, by popular vote through my Discord server, because I have a private Discord server, more on that in a minute, but through popular vote on Discord, the vote today was painting stuff today. Before I start painting stuff, and I use painting loosely, I'll get to that in a second. Before I start painting anything, I just want to show off this thing. I just inked this yesterday. This is The Magician, which is a tarot card. I love how this turned out. I will be posting this on Instagram, TikTok, and my website this weekend, like later today. I love how this turned out. Really love how this turned out. Next piece in the tarot series will be coming soon, because I already did the Fool. This was the Fool. So yeah, the Fool and the Magician are done. I think the next card in the series is the High Priestess, if I remember correctly. Anyways, today I will be painting, and by painting I mean I'm going to be working with Copic markers for the most part because of the paper that these are on. These two pieces have extra prints because I penciled these digitally, printed them out on cardstock, and I will be coloring on top of those, but I did make copies to test colors on just to make sure that everything works as intended, especially because these are, I'm not going to go for like photorealism here, but I'm definitely going to be taking some creative liberties to try to simplify some things, because I'll show this copy here because this has the clearest line work. I will be coloring in the window display of a coffee shop in my downtown area, and I'm going to try to capture the reflections that the window caught. Now, that may take some effort, which is why I printed out 2 copies. One that's going to be the final product, one that's the test colors. And then I did the same thing with, and I don't know how clearly this is going to pop up, but oh yeah, this is actually much clearer. So yeah, this is the other one that I will be coloring in. And I will be coloring these with Copic markers because this particular cardstock is not thick enough to handle watercolors, unfortunately. But who knows, maybe in 1 or 2 places I may be able to like dabble in some watercolors because I have more than just the watercolor tubes. Yeah, I have more than just what's in the, what's the word? I'll just show you. The watercolor tray, this thing. I thought that when I ordered this online, I thought it would be much smaller than what it is, but it works. Palette, watercolor palette. Good golly, Mr. Molly. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that word, but there we go. Yeah. I got that. I have a smaller Winsor & Newton pocket watercolor palette set, but it's being blocked by several things right now, and I won't be able to get to it. I do, though, have, I'll just pull out the mug. A mug full of Tombow markers in my Heck Yeah mug, and there they are. Oh, snagged on a poster. A mug full of paint markers, which includes Winsor & Newton watercolor markers. Now, the Winsor & Newton watercolor markers come in like 2 different shades of blue and 1 of green. So it's not super duper varied there. But, you know, I do also have some like more intense colors. I have Molotows. Molotows are very vibrant. Or at least this Molotow is. This one I have used so much that I'm going to need to get a replacement one because this is actually kind of faded, but that's okay. Oh, I also have a Faber-Castell big tip brush pen. Pretty sure this is a brush pen. Let me open it up. Oh yeah, brush pen. Using my face for contrast. Yeah, so I got a couple of different paintbrush markers in case we need them. And I also have my chameleon, just in case I need that too. Who knows though? And in my Respect the Stash mug. Well, yes, this was the basis for a prop in the cover of Johnson & Sir. I say that like Johnson & Sir is still in print. I took it out of print a while ago. I have no plans on bringing Johnson & Sir back into print, to be perfectly honest with you. And not just because it's a comic, even in a parody sense, about cops. It's also got a little bit of copyrighted material that I don't feel 100% comfortable putting into print anymore. So, yeah. Yeah, Johnson & Sir is just going to stay as a webcomic for the time being. And I'm going to start by coloring this, the Georgette Coffee Shop. I don't know if you can tell. I'll show you the test one. There it is. I'm going to start with coloring this because this one's going to be the most challenging one. So let me set aside this. Okay. Real glad that I made this swatch. These are all of the Copic markers that I have. Let's see. Oh, and I have my reference image up in a different window, so. Okay. Now I would use just straight black for the tarp, but I think I'm going to use a warm gray tone. Yeah, I think I'm going to use a warm gray tone. I don't have too many warm gray tones, but I have some. Oh yeah, yeah, that'll work. Hopefully I have some refill inks for it. I do! I have refill inks for all of my warm gray inks. That's a good thing. So I get the feeling I'm going to be using a bunch of them. Probably should use the chisel tip for coloring this in, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, that chisel tip is faded as heck. I need to refill that marker. Okay. This is warm gray number 5, I think. Yes, warm gray number 5. And I have that. This is the refill ink that I use. Copic Various Inks. I ordered these through a website. Pretty sure it's called My Scrapbook Pal. They have lots of scrapbooking tools. I should double check that site actually, because I'm recently getting into bullet journaling. They may have some bullet journaling supplies that I want. I mean, notebook therapy can't be the only game in town. Even though notebook therapy does have some adorable stuff, I'm actually using notebook therapy's... They released a seasonal collection and they're doing seasonal stuff again, but this was in collaboration with another company. I have the spring book. That's this one right here. It is very cute. The pages are nice and thick for if you want to do like heavy marker work or like watercolors, if that's your thing. The Notebook Therapy Instagram page often shows people just straight up painting into their bullet journal pages. And I'm like, your pages must be exceptionally thick for you to do that. Okay, we have now refilled this enough that it's leaking on the one end, so. Oh no, the neighbor dogs. That little wiener dog. He's got a lot of fight in him. Grace bless him. You go get him, puppy. I'll bet you it's the wiener dog yelling at the neighbor's dog, because we also have a neighbor with a Pomeranian. Oh, two little puppies, two little puppers, both wanting to assert that they are in fact the biggest dogs in the neighborhood. Don't tell them otherwise. Okay. This could definitely use some more ink. Because I saw that the brush tip wasn't even like replenished yet. Chisel tip, yes, but not the brush tip. I do want to take a second to talk about something that I have been handling for a couple of hours now. And this is something I did not expect to find out today, and yet I found out about it on Twitter through C. Spike Trotman, because I follow her account. Oh, actually, hey Alex, do you support anybody on Patreon? Okay, little bit of bad news. Found this out through the grapevine. Patreon just laid off their entire security team. Make of that what you will, as a patron. I know on the creator end of things, letting y'all know, I'm pausing my Patreon page until I figure out an alternative besides Ko-fi. I am looking into other alternatives outside of Ko-fi because Ko-fi does not like some of my pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Heaven forbid that I show male nipples. Or post products with the word fuck in the title. Okay. Even though I mark my page as not safe for work, apparently that's not enough to protect it. Okay. Anyways. Back to coloring. Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Here, I'll show you the marked differences. It's there. This was before the ink refill. This is after the ink refill. So that's a difference. So I'm gonna go back over that. But yeah, I found that out through the grapevine that Patreon laid off their security team. I don't like that, considering most of my readers are some variation of transgender in varying degrees of out or closeted. I don't want their personal information compromised. And especially since Patreon deals a lot with money. There's so much about this that makes me worried. And of course, Patreon has not officially announced this. This was something that we had to hear through the grapevine from somebody who worked on the Patreon security team. And then they went on LinkedIn and they were like, well, hate to say it, but Patreon laid us all off. I'm open for work now, though. And it's like, oh, that's scary. So I've been looking into alternatives for the last couple of hours. And this is something that I may run by patrons on Patreon as a poll to be what would you like to see as an alternative? Because there's 3 that I do feel really good about. But I want to poll peeps who originally supported me on Patreon to see what they would be most comfortable with as alternatives go. The 3 alternatives that I have narrowed in on are: 1 is a platform that already exists. 2 would be building my own from the ground up. The one that already exists is a platform called Buy Me a Coffee, which functions similarly to Ko-fi in that you can accept monthly contributions or one-time donations. With Buy Me a Coffee, you don't need to have a member's account to make a contribution. You can just donate anonymously if you choose to. So that may be an incentive for some folks. Other things that they can do, they can enable a storefront shop like what Ko-fi does. There's a few other things that they can do too. They're very similar to Ko-fi in a way, but Buy Me a Coffee offers a lot of their services for free. Ko-fi keeps some of those features behind a paywall with their gold memberships. So just on that front alone, I am considering setting up a Buy Me a Coffee page. Because I do like presenting more flexibility to people who want to support my work. I like being able to present the option of you can donate once or you can give on a monthly basis, because not everybody can give on a monthly basis. I get it, times are tight. But I like being able to present that option, and also presenting the option of, also, I have these things available for sale. So if you feel bad just giving just one time, or you want to have your purchase be in exchange for some kind of a good or a service, here you go, there's your options. I like presenting that as an alternative to just donate, please. I may have to take multiple coats to this. Anyway, so Buy Me a Coffee. That's one alternative platform that could work. The other 2 alternative platforms are things that I would build myself. And these are using tools that I already use. Full disclosure. The first of those options is building a page through Stripe. Stripe is just a payment processor, which is the PayPal competitor. Stripe is the PayPal competitor that I am aware of. I don't think PayPal is owned by Stripe. But I do see a lot of online shops using Stripe because it's honestly good as far as payment processors go. Same sort of fee setup as PayPal usage, but not as much of a cut, which is nice. But Stripe does allow for setting up your own store and setting up your own subscription. The other option, if it's not Buy Me a Coffee or using Stripe, it's using Square. Now, I already use Square to track my inventory for products that I sell at conventions. So I already have some familiarity with Square, and I'm pleased to see that Square even has like a subscription offering. But it also kind of makes sense. Square is a small business tool, and some small businesses include gyms or subscription boxes like BarkBox or EveryPlate, like things where you pay so much per month and you get a good shipped to you. Now, here is where I need to put some thought into if I go the route of building my own versus just using Buy Me a Coffee. Because Buy Me a Coffee could be an alternative to Ko-fi as well, though I would keep up the Ko-fi page. Currently, I have Patreon paused for the month of October. The September payment already processed, so yeah, I have the billing cycle paused for the following month for Patreon. Because again, don't necessarily like that they laid off their entire security team, because I don't know what that means. It's also very scary. But if I build my own, the rewards offered would be a bit different. Unless I deliberately make something like a subscription to like a pin club. The other alternative for a subscription would be intangible things like shoutouts on live streams, shoutouts in videos, getting your name in the credits in print books whenever I take stuff to print. Among some other intangible goods like access to my Tiny Dinos Discord server. Speaking of the Tiny Dinos Discord server, I'm thinking about opening it up to the public. If I do that, folks who are on there currently, who support me on Patreon or Ko-fi, would get special badges or privileges that the general public would not get. But I'm thinking about opening the server up to the general public and not having it be like patron exclusive. I don't know though. Let me know what you think. I know I'm throwing a lot at folks right now, but I'm processing this aloud, as it were. I do find it noteworthy when I was looking into Buy Me a Coffee as an alternative to Patreon. They have a page on there for like a Patreon alternative, or like switching away from Patreon and explaining why you should use Buy Me a Coffee, why you should use Buy Me a Coffee instead of using Patreon. And the very first headline on the information page is basically like, if you're tired of handling Patreon's user interface and politics. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting spicy here. And honestly, I can get the angle of like being angry with the political stances that Patreon takes, because I I know a fair number of artists who make not safe for work art, and in some ways it feels like to them Patreon is the only avenue available to them to monetize their stuff, because most people don't want to touch not safe for work content, except for maybe itch.io, but still. And I get it. Like, I do actually have some not safe for work content that I would love to make, but there is no place online that is safe to post that. The not safe for work stuff that I want to make involves consenting adults. Full disclosure. But in the past, Patreon has been really wishy-washy in terms of whether they support not safe for work creators or not, because there will be times where they'll shut down a page arbitrarily. Ko-fi does the same thing. Had that scare the other day because Ko-fi just shadow banned my page because I dared to post male nipples. Nothing more lewd than that, just male nipples. And I'm like, I don't get why you're throwing a fuss about this now, because I've posted male nipples before and you've never said a word about it. But now you're suddenly like, no, cannot handle the male nipple. What happened? Did you become Twitch? Not to mention, on Patreon, if you label your page as not safe for work, half the time you don't pop up in the Patreon search engine. I mean, I don't know anybody who uses the Patreon search engine, but also it makes you hard to find just in general, even if you use Google. Or DuckDuckGo. I prefer using DuckDuckGo. I'm going to take a bite of cookie real quick. Hold on. I'm going to try to do this off camera because I know that food can be kind of a trigger for some folks. Particularly anybody who's coping with an eating disorder. But yeah, there's just been a lot that I've been working through for the last couple of hours before I started streaming. And as much research as I can realistically do, even with the stuff on my to-do list today. The to-do list today is pretty light in comparison, though. Oh, I hope folks had a good time at the Comics versus Art debut at Wild Goose Creative. I was unfortunately unable to go at the last minute because there was a small fire with my, not a literal fire, but like a little minor emergency that I had to handle with my book printer at the last minute, so I was unable to make it. The crisis is averted. We are okay. My roommate Alex already put the Halloween decorations out on the porch. It's honestly adorable. I look forward to all the compliments that we get from our neighbors, because we're like the only apartment around here that goes all out for Halloween. Like, we have like fake cobwebs, little ghosties, little tombstones. It's great. This comment, after the last few weeks and working last weekend, my to-do list today is just not stressing. Totally get it. You are entitled to a day off. Glad to have you here. Yeah. My mental health has been wacky the last couple of days. Earlier this week, I was actually like, I don't want to say manic, but I was definitely in really good spirits. And then, like, yesterday or the day before, suddenly my mood just, it didn't like crash all the way to the bottom, but it was definitely like, oh, I'm not as excited as I was a few days ago. Like, this is uncomfortable and I don't like it. I don't think it's ADHD. Because, like, I have an older sister that has ADHD, and if I'm just comparing myself to her, then I'm good. I'm good. I got my shit together. Like, I'm not, like, sitting here saying that I can do, like, 17 paintings, 15 zines, and 3 graphic novels and work a full-time job. Like, I'm not saying that I can do that. I'm not that ADHD. No, if anything, I think it's just more, I think it's more autistic brain being like, oh, your routine is a thing, and you've been keeping up with the routine. And then there's another part of me that's like, but is this a routine that I want to keep up? The thing is, though, is that being a comic artist or just being an artist in general, you want things to get done, like, right away. But making art is not I mean, the process is immediate. The final product is not. But as an artist, particularly a comic artist, you just want the thing to be done. Like, if you could realistically find a way to, like, just tap your pen on your working surface and have the final product just be present, then I'm pretty sure that would be every artist's dream, but we have to actually use our skill to put it to paper. To me, that's the joy of being an artist. But sometimes it can be really frustrating, particularly if you have a lot of ideas that you want to get down at once. I've actually been revisiting some old comic ideas in the last couple of days. Oh, I'm sorry. There's this comment, oh, I'm also working next weekend, upside down smiley face. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm technically working too, because that's Small Press Expo weekend, and I've been doing a lot to get ready for a Small Press Expo weekend. Bless you.
Thank you.
Roommate sneezed off camera. Off topic. I was about to say something, but just off topic. Looking at the screen right now, I am really happy that I put a, like, light over here on the side. It has really helped with light balancing during this stream. Yeah. I'll post pictures up on Instagram to be like, this was the setup that I had behind the scenes, and you don't get to see this because this is not what you see on Twitch. But there's definitely a prop. I originally got this as, like, because this is like a portable vlogging kit, and it comes with its own light. So I just set it up, sans phone and microphone. I just had the prop and the light, put it up, and turn the light on, and it's balancing the light very nicely. Sorry that I'm not doing chores right now. I'm not sure she heard me. I think she's got an earbud in. Oh yeah, there's an earbud in there. It always feels a little weird to me whenever I'm like working on live streams while my roommate is doing a bunch of cleaning stuff. To be fair, I also do cleaning stuff when I'm not live. Though in fairness, I've been cooking a lot the last couple of days. The other day I made well, okay. Let's go back before the Southwest hash, because I found a recipe for roasted cucumbers that was actually very good. I might actually make a zine of some like easy to do recipes. I've been thinking about getting back into zines, like just making zines. Because zines are a viable way to get a little bit of side income coming in. But they're also a nice form of personal expression. Like, I follow Wasted Ink Zine Distro on Instagram. Wasted Ink is a zine distro based in Phoenix, Arizona. Highly recommend them. They're very cool. They do a lot of community activities as well, and they have a little zine fest. Highly recommend them. They are very cool. There's them, and there's I'm pretty sure this zine distro is still a thing. There's Neither Nor zine distro in Kansas City. I have my stuff with them, or at least I did. I don't know if they've sold out. And then there's, of course, the landmark, the tried and true Quimby's in Chicago. They also have a New York store, but I work with the Chicago one to showcase my zines and stuff. Hold on. Snacking on a cookie. Give me a second. Oh man, you can see my tan line from this angle. Okay. It's all the warm gray base. And this is just the base layer. That's why it's a little messy in places. I will be going over this with a warm gray number 7 to smooth it out some. In fact, I'll do that now. Actually, I'm gonna let it sit. We'll go over it with warm 7 later. Let me get some other base colors down. I think I'll do the bricks next. Yeah, I'll do the bricks. Let me do... Okay. If I use this particular yellow that I'm thinking about using, I've been using this yellow a lot. But it's there. Y11 Pale Yellow from Copic. Because the yellow Tombow that I have is too vivid. Like, give you an idea. This is yellow 11, pale yellow. This is the Tombow marker that I have. They are not the same shade. If anything, this is a tint. If we're using technical artist terms here. Okay, this is the color of the bricks, and yes, the bricks are yellow. A yellow brick cafe, if you will. Ooh, come to think of it, there may need to be some yellow-green involved in here. Rotating it this way. This is one of the things I like about working with traditional marker and watercolor as opposed to digitally, is that I can rotate the canvas very easily just by doing that. I don't have to hit buttons to get to the right angle that I want. I can just rotate it like immediately. This is really nice. Sometimes I forget how much I like working with traditional media until I start working in traditional media, and then I'm like, why don't I do this more often? I don't think I have a refill ink for this, actually. I have to double check. Living dangerously. To be fair, I have not used Copics in a while, comparatively speaking. Do I have a refill of this? I really don't think I do. Nope, I have refill yellows of the darker tints or shades, but I do not have a refill of this, so I'm going to add that to my list, actually. I keep a running list on Evernote of like art supplies that I have to get. So I'm going to add refill inks for Y11, pale yellow, to the list. Sip of tea. Okay. Oh, there it is, today's shopping list. Evernote has this new feature, or at least it's new to me, called shortcuts, that it just saves like a handful of notes that you refer to frequently. Not used to this feature yet, but it is very handy to have. There we go. Y11 Copic refill added to the list. The other thing I gotta get is a travel easel to draw caricatures on, because I booked a caricature gig for October 1st down in Columbus, Ohio. And I did rehome the previous travel easel that I had. In fairness, it did not have legs to prop itself up on. I would need a table or something else to put it on. It did come in very handy when I needed it, but I rehomed it because I don't really need a portable table easel anymore. But now I need a portable easel in general for drawing caricatures on. So that'll be the next thing that I get, probably. Between now and October 1st, I gotta make sure that I get that. Bottom part of that wall is yellow. Let me consult the reference photo. Yep, it is. Okay. There's another part though that's a like red orange that I'm gonna need to be mindful of. probably should be using this to test my colors more often. I keep forgetting that this is here. Oops. That's okay. If I mess up real bad, I can print off another one. That's the nice thing about doing digital pencils, is if you mess up real bad, you can just print a second one and start over. I actually considered doing that with the Fool tarot art, because I felt like some of the hatchwork was a little too busy. But then I remembered, oh, this is going to be printed as a card later. This may not be all that busy whenever it's shrunk down. Like, busy in an artistic sense. I just had this thought. Because there's not a ton of ink in this particular marker. Because I'll show you what the problem is. So, in this image, and I don't know how clearly you can see this. Okay, let's hold it over here. But in this image, in the space immediately below the tarp, it's supposed to be a large swath of yellow going across here. And I say large, even though it is like maybe the width of my finger here of yellow right under this warm gray is supposed to go down there. I don't have a whole ton of ink, and that particular area of this in the source material is in shadow, so I'm wondering if maybe I could get away with using a different color, but I might not. We'll see. It's like, well, let me test this. I'm going to use YG00 Mimosa Yellow. This may be even paler, but... Oh, why am I coloring it there? On the test page. I should be coloring it there. That's the chisel tip. Okay, it's a subtle difference and I can see it, but most people will probably not be able to tell. So I'll keep this Mimosa Yellow on hand just in case this dies on me mid-stroke. There we go. Put the swatch there. I'm going to keep using the brush tip because I know the chisel tip is going to be like, yeah, the chisel tip is pretty pale. That, and I use the brush tips more. Circling back to the discussion of Patreon alternatives, because if I opt to go for using Stripe or Square, then I would start offering subscriptions like Pin of the Month or Keychain of the Month, stuff like that, and possibly bringing back zine subscriptions. I would have some bundles available, of course, but I'm thinking about if I do go the route of, sorry, really high-pitched squeak there. But if I do go the route of using Stripe or Square, I may offer physical subscriptions, not just like digital ones, though I think I would offer a digital one that's like on the lower end of the monthly subscription scale, so that if folks still wanted to support, they could. Okay. Definitely considering a pin club, whether I do enamel or acrylic, because I have noticed, looking at because I use Square to track my inventory, I have noticed that my top 3 selling categories, books are by far and away the stuff that sells the most. Like, comparatively, they sell like 10 times the amount of units as the other categories of stuff that I sell. So I have books as a category. I have what I call miscellaneous, and that encompasses keychains and pins. But it also includes other things like dice bags, because I have a handful of handmade dice bags that I have. Prints and mini prints are their own category, but the category is just called prints. And then there's another category called art, which covers commissions, originals, and I think like one other thing. But yeah, those are 3. And my top 3 so far this year of categories that sell the most at shows are books, obviously, the miscellaneous stuff, and art. Those are my top 3. Unfortunately, prints are not even in the top 5. So what I'm going to do is I am going to send out prints to folks who support me on a monthly basis on Ko-fi, whom I have shipping addresses for. Excuse me. I'm going to start sending them out, as many as I can, that will satisfy the number of like patrons or backers that it can cover. Like, I have some mini prints that I only have like 2 copies of left, and then there are some that I have like 7 copies of left. So the ones that are like on the higher end are going to be things that I will mail out to patrons and Ko-fi backers. The things on the lower end, I'm going to put in grab bags. And I will be, hopefully, if space allows in my suitcase, I'm going to take grab bags with me to Small Press Expo next weekend. That is an oddity that I have noticed with my stuff, is that the prints don't sell super well. Art books do. Don't entirely know why that is with me, but this is something that I have noticed in my own sales. There are other artists for whom prints are their number 1 seller, and good on ya, bud, but for me, prints don't work. So I'm going to start phasing prints out of the convention merch lineup, and I'm going to start putting art into art books, and putting those art books up on places like Kickstarter or Crowdfunder, or maybe even Ko-fi, to be like, help me fund the first print run, basically. I will say, Ko-fi, I would say that I love you, but I will say now I like you. Because I was not an overly big fan of how you shadow banned my page until I got rid of some things. Not a big fan of that. I like you well enough, but Ko-fi is not super great at handling book pre-orders in the way that Kickstarter is. Oh, thank you for joining us, Simply Callie. Feel free to lurk around while you get chores done. Totally get it. My roommate is also doing chores right now. Probably after this stream, I will contribute towards the chores side of things. Because there are some things that on the cleaning side, Alex doesn't like doing, that I'm like, I'll do it. I don't mind it. Like cleaning the toilets, I don't mind cleaning toilets. taking care of the litter boxes. I would say dusting, but neither of us dust. Yeah, looking at the comment section, that's the most common sentiment that I've seen from people whenever I showcase my stuff at conventions. The comment in the chat is, I love prints, but I don't have the space to display them. Totally get it. So, you know what? Let me try something really quick. We're doing this live. Okay, no, it did not work the way that I thought it would. Okay. On OBS, there's a little chat window that tells me, like, who is saying what, and I didn't know if there was a way to, like, smush that onto the display screen so that you could also see the chat. But I do also know that on Twitch, there's already a separate window for chat stuff, so we're good there. But anyway, yeah, looking at the stream chat, I love prints but don't have the space to display them. That's the most common sentiment that I have come across whenever I showcase my stuff at conventions. So I do really think that that is one big reason why prints are not as big of a seller for me. Again, if there are artists out there who sell lots of, like, prints, good on ya, bud. Keep up the good work. I don't think that's going to be me. But I do think that there is a market for art books. And I'm not just saying that because I also have art books in the other room. Honestly, I do think that art books are going to be the thing for artists to focus on if you don't want to do prints. Because with art books, you could just take the stuff that you would make into prints and put it into a book. And then that way, too, the art books serve as a point of reference for other aspiring artists to have a book to flip open to and study off of. Because I know, in my own personal experience, I have done a lot of studies, artistically speaking, just from art books. Yeah, looking at the comments, I like this idea. It's something that's been kicking around the old bucket for a little while. But this is just something that I started doing when I was a teenager, and it's something I still do to this day, which is I look at art books, and as I look at art books, I go, I really like how this artist does blah. Let me copy this down and see if I can replicate it. And then I draw it in my sketchbook. There are a number of sketchbook pages in the sketchbooks that I have under my desk here in milk crates. I'll take photos and post it up on Instagram to show you what I mean. But I have milk crates under my desk of sketchbooks, scripts, and a few other notebooks and bullet journals. In the sketchbooks in particular, there are studies from these art books in particular. And also a number of studies from other people's Instagram posts on Pinterest, and things from Tumblr that I save onto my external hard drive that I really like. I do also have, you know what? I'll show you a thing. Hold on. I did this a lot more whenever I had full access to, like, on-campus printers. And if I remember to do it, I will also do it myself. But I also have this is a sketchbook from, like, Michael's, one of the blank ones, and I print out stuff and paste it in here like a scrapbook. Like, just, this is my scrapbook thing. Just printing out other people's stuff and pasting it in here so that I have stuff to study off of later whenever I feel like it. There's no particular method or madness to how I sort these things other than if it fits, it sits. So that's how I organize these pages. But I print out the stuff that I'm like, I really like how this looks for whatever reason. It could be the composition. It could be muscle studies. This is a muscle study. It could be a quote. It could be And just how colors are used, or it can be something that makes me laugh. Whatever it is, I print it out and I paste it in here. I have not pasted anything new in here for a hot minute, but I have pasted stuff in here. This is still my favorite thing. Pleased to meet you. I'm a whale. If you can't see it super clearly, there's a scuba diver. I love this so much. But yeah, stuff like that. And it's a scrapbook full of stuff. Full of some of my favorite things. And also this is actually the cover of a sketchbook that I kept when I was in college, but I liked it so much that I just cut it out and put it in here. And sometimes, as is the case with this guy down here, this is like a mini print that I got off of an artist at a convention, but I had no room for on my wall space, so I was like, I'll just put it in a scrapbook. And there we go. That helps too. This case was true with this one as well. This was another mini print that I put into the scrapbook. Did it that way. This is another one. If I can remember who any of these artists are, I will tag them, but I do really like these. And then sometimes postcards I'll keep in here as well. Like this was from San Diego. I went to San Diego once. This is Ash Cave from Hocking Hills. Very cool. Top of the Rock in New York. Stuff like that. This is just an entire... I have the whole scrapbook just full of stuff like this. And I love it. It's great. This is my artistic inspiration scrapbook. I don't flip through it nearly as often as I should. But whenever I feel like I want to print something for studying later, I put it in that thing. Okay. I just wanted to show that off. I thought that was cool. Art books. They're valid. And it's almost like flipping through an artist's scrapbook, like what you just saw me flip through. So art books, they're going to be the future. Let me look at the reference photo again. Okay. I wanted to see what parts of this were going to be yellow and what parts were going to be not yellow. But I have a better idea now. Now, one thing I could do is I could go over this yellow with this pale yellow shade, and then once this dries, go over it again with the YR00 Mimosa yellow that I was looking at earlier. I could do that. And in fact, I just might do that. Itchy nose. Excuse me. Ugh. I actually have a art book from one of my favorite Instagram artists, Chris Metzner. Hold on. Boo-boo! I don't know how much the mic is picking this up. Boo-boo is howling in the hallway. Let me see what's going on. I would say kitty break time, but I don't know where Bree is. She's not in the cave. And she's not hiding under my blankets, so I don't know where she is right now. She's not on her little old lady blanket either. The little old lady blanket being this plaid thing sitting on top of my little Heidi ottoman. So glad I got that Heidi ottoman. I got that when I was working at Michael's in my first stint working at Michael's, pre-2016. Got that with a employee discount and a coupon stacked on top of it. So like that was originally list price like $80 and I got it for like 30 or 40. It was nice. I am amazed at how much weight that thing can hold and not fall apart. Like, astounding. Michael's, as far as I know, does not carry stuff like this anymore, though, unfortunately. I have not seen them in the Michael's locations that I have stopped at, or worked at, for that matter. This is fading, but I don't want to switch yet. I'm gonna need to switch. All right. Gonna try to blend these so it's not super duper noticeable. Because this is not a color, the mimosa yellow is not a color that I use frequently. I don't tend to like yellow greens. There's something about yellow greens that make me go, ew, sick, and not use them. Okay. Let's go back over some of this other yellow with this yellow green. Get some blending going on. I don't know why I'm singing. Go ahead and mention this as well too while I'm thinking about it. But first, update on the progress of the piece so far. And I know this is really hard to see because even though I do have an extra light on this end over here, it's still not super stellar lighting, and I'm sorry. Eventually we will get a setup so that you can actually see everything clearly and hear everything clearly, but we're not there yet. Anyway, just thinking about the topic of alternatives to Patreon and Ko-fi. Looking at alternatives to Patreon because Patreon scares me right now. Because they laid off their entire security team. I cannot stress this enough. That makes me nervous. And again, don't think Patreon has made an official statement about this yet. This is just something that we had to hear through the grapevine in artist circles from somebody who posted on LinkedIn. Scary. So yeah, looking for alternatives to Patreon for that. And also considering alternatives to Ko-fi, because Ko-fi does not like some of my pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts and does not like the word fuck. So I'm considering getting a shop front using Big Cartel. And I am saying Big Cartel rather than Shopify, because Big Cartel can let you start up an account for free, and a lot of other artists whom I know and respect use Big Cartel. They don't use Shopify. I know one artist who uses Shopify, but the other art peeps that I know use Big Cartel. And the peeps who are using Big Cartel are selling the kind of stuff that I would. So stuff like originals or limited run t-shirts, stuff like that. In fact, my old art buddy, Amanda Carney, who runs Cat Paw Art Studios in Wheeling, West Virginia, has a big cartel shop and is pretty successful with it. There's this guy whom I got the manga sweater off of. He runs a big cartel shop. The other thing about Big Cartel is that they integrate with a label printing service that I already use to print my labels with, which is Pirate Ship. Yes, there is a label service called Pirate Ship. It's all shipping at the cheapest prices possible. Love Pirate Ship. They have saved me so much money since I have switched over to using them. But Pirate Ship integrates with Big Cartel, which I really like integrations. They make life so much easier. So I'm considering that, just for that alone. But I'm thinking about getting a Big Cartel shop. And if I do that, it'll be easier to set up a monthly subscription club of some sort on Big Cartel. Something like a pin club or a keychain club or a sticker club. It would be pretty easy to set up on Big Cartel, I think. So I'm thinking about possibly opening up a Big Cartel and doing that. And maybe selling some originals on Big Cartel. We'll see. Because I'm also considering posting originals up for sale on an Etsy shop. I don't have an Etsy account, but I do know Etsy has eyeballs on it. I have said before in a past live stream that I would not consider it because I do not like what the heads of Etsy do, and that's still true. I do not like corporate Etsy. Corporate Etsy has made some questionable decisions that I don't entirely like or respect. But I'm checking my color swatches because, like, I let me look at my reference photo again. Okay, this has a lot more of a deep red brownish hue to it than I expected. So yeah, it's that one. I'm going to be using R08 Vermilion for this next part. Make sure, okay. Making sure that I looked at that right, because, like, I did pencil this digitally, but it looked like I was missing a line. But that was how it was in the original source image, so we'll just work with it, I suppose. Do I want to work with the chisel tip? Let's see how... Actually, no. We're switching back to the brush tip. There are some, like, nooks and crannies in here that I'm going to need to get into with the brush tip. Chisel tip would be a pain in the butt to get into those nooks and crannies. I do know some comic artists who post their originals up on eBay, and I don't know how much success they get doing that, but eBay is also a outlet to potentially post originals up on. I'm not sure that I would do that, but it is an outlet. If I was going to post originals on an outside site that was not a site that I built myself, I would more likely post it on Etsy. Just full disclosure. have a lot of ink in this particular marker because this is not faded at all. It's really nice. I do need to double check a particular square. Okay. Oh. Okay. I was looking at the reference image again for this next part. I'll just leave the reference image up just so I know what I'm looking at. Okay. Okay. Cool. It's getting there. We're coming together here. Okay. Now, because there's window glass and there's reflections and stuff going on here, and the source image was taken on a particularly sunny day, I am still figuring out the best way to handle the glass reflections in this piece. Because I don't want the reflections to take up all of the attention in this piece, but they are a notable feature. Still gonna figure that out. But that's what I have this test thing for that I keep forgetting is over here. Oh, you know what? There. There we go. Okay. Now, vermilion's going to be worked in a couple of different places here, but this is what we have so far. And this original cafe thing did have windows like divoting. That's not the right word, but it does divot inwards like that. Hence why the vermilion angles in like that. And why the yellow angles in like that. It's because the glass, instead of being like this, angles like this. And I thought that was really noteworthy for a cafe in particular, so that was why I wanted to color it / paint it. Paint. The funny thing is, there was an art book that I came across that it was an art book entirely about using Copic markers, and the artist who wrote that book continuously said, paint with Copics. And like, when you paint with this next Copic color, and I'm like, I have never come across the idea of Copics being referred to as paints until this book, and honestly, I can get it. I get the argument. Like, yeah. I just thought it was funny. And hence why I'm saying paint with Copics. Let me look at the original source photo again. Okay. before I rotate the canvas again. There. Rotate the canvas. Make like Sam Riegel in the Crash Pandas one shot. Reset the map. I might turn on that one shot after this live stream just because it's a fun one shot to watch. Your Crash Pandas, for those who have no idea, is a tabletop RPG. The rules all fit on one page, and you play as raccoons drag racing in Los Angeles. Or wherever you want to drag race in. Honestly, it sounds like a fun time. I really want to play Crash Pandas at some point. Maybe one day. I did come across, thanks to the magic of collaborating on the podcast I'm a part of, The Fourth Leg, giving new GMs a leg to stand on. Being a co-host of The Fourth Leg... Yeah, sorry, I had to take a second to look at the comments. Yeah, honestly, Crash Pandas, it's a fun game. It is a very fun game. First discovered it when Critical Role did a one-shot, or just a one-episode thing, where Sam Riegel was the game master, game mastering for a bunch of guys and gals playing as raccoons drag racing in Los Angeles. It was great. There was also a skunk. It's a fun campaign all around. So the funny thing is the person who designed that particular tabletop RPG goes by the name of Grant Howitt. All of the one-page RPGs that I have seen this dude design all pertain to animals. So he did another one-page RPG called Honey Heist, where you play as bears heisting for honey. Honey Heist. And then he and Marisha Ray from Critical Role made a one-page RPG. Pretty sure it's called A Familiar Problem, where you play as a wizard's familiar going on an adventure. It's adorable as heck. They also did a one-shot episode for that on Critical Role. That's the most recent one-shot that they've done, I think. I just realized this blanket is like super uneven. I'm going to take a second to fix this. Hold on. I call this my anarchy blanket because it's made with black, red, and white. Okay. I originally made this to be like a lap blanket, but the corners came out kind of doofy looking, so I was like, oh, you're going to be a chair blanket instead. There we go. If you do not know how to knit or crochet, I encourage you to learn at least one of those. I'm one of those rare people that does stitchcraft. I can do both. I can knit and crochet. I actually knitted. I'm going to show you this little guy. His face is a little derpy, but I love him. He's a dinosaur that I crocheted with some rainbow yarn that I had extra of after I knitted a sweater. But I crocheted this little guy and I sewed little like doofy little button eyes on him. I love him. He is so cute. I think I might make more little dinosaur plushes for family members for Christmas. I just might. We'll see. But I love him. He's so cute. I did come across a pattern for an amigurumi dragon and I want to make it so bad. Might just get some like chunky yarn and a big needle and follow the pattern to make it as big as possible. I was not expecting that, but like, thank you. I'm glad that you want one. We'll see. I do want to put together little care packages for all of my like super patrons, the folks who support me on Ko-fi or Patreon with like big sums of money, Like, I do want to make little special care packages for y'all as a thank you and as a little check-in, make sure you're doing okay and all that. And I just might make more of these little guys for those care packages. I think that'd be cute. He was also somewhat fast to make. Um, I stuffed him with some t-shirt scraps because I also do wrecked t-shirt stuffs. Obviously, this was once a t-shirt. I made it into a tank top because sleeves are bullshit. I think I'm done with the vermilion, actually. Yeah, this is vermilion. Yeah, I'm done with the vermilion. I think I missed a yellow on this thing. No, I missed a warm gray. I'm gonna fix that. There's a little notch here. I need to color that with warm gray. Number 5, I think it was. Yeah, it was number 5. The support bars for this thing are going to be colored a different thing, more than likely. Maybe another warm gray. Again, the source image was taken on a sunny day. For context, if you follow me on Instagram, this that I'm coloring in right now is a drawing version. I was going to say a drawed version, but this is an illustrated version of one of the reference photos that I shared on Instagram on my birthday. There we go. Okay, I'm using the backup microphone. I don't know what the heck happened there, but like, I need to, Callie, I need to double check those like links that you sent me the other day. I wasn't able to like flip through them completely the last time that you sent them, but I will double check because I still have those messages. But I'll double check that because I don't know why. I don't know why Blue Snowball decided to not work, but it did. Hold on. Ah! Okay. That's weird. Well, looking at this comment, no worries, a snowball must have just said, no. I think it just got wiggled out of the, USB port for some strange reason. But I'm glad that y'all can hear me. So, I don't know how much got missed, but I started knitting a sweater vest, and, because I am that lesbian stereotype now, but, I started knitting a sweater vest, and I'm using this vest as a kind of a template, but the sweater vest that I'm knitting will not have an open front. It's not going to have buttons or a zipper. It's just going to be one solid piece that I would like pull over my long sleeve button-up shirts. At least that's the plan. I may make another knit sweater vest that does button up in the front, because I have some delightfully tacky buttons that come in different shapes like watermelon slices and strawberries that I would definitely sew into a sweater vest, because I am that dork. Anyway. Okay, next color. Let's see. Okay, next color, gonna work with a... Double checking here. I'm not gonna add shadows yet. I'm doing color flats first. Wait. Even that's too orange. Gosh dang it. Well, I guess I'll just color in the ferns. I was going to color in a sign thing, but I don't have the right shade of yellow for it, so I'm just going to color in the plant life and the ferns that are in the foreground here. Wait, should I do that or should I do the windows? Because windows are in the background. Work back to front. I should do windows next, actually. Work back to front. I'm cross-referencing my color swatch here with the colors of the source image. Okay. Ooh, I think I could do a, yeah, this would be very pale, but this would be a handy base color to have for the windows. Even the signage in the glass would be subject to this, so. Oh God, do I have refill links of this? I really hope I do. Of course I don't. Add that to the list. Oh, let me make sure the microphone is still working. Good, it is. Oof. Okay, just catching up on comments. I'm presuming this comment is more about the sweater vest that I was talking about. Full support, do it, and make sure to send photos when they're someday done. Yeah, because sweaters and sweater vests are not fast. Oh. I just saw this text from CB. She texted shadow banned because I made a post up on my Patreon page that I had been shadow banned from Ko-fi. Full disclosure, the shadow ban happened a few weeks ago, if not a month ago. Like, it's been a hot minute. I'm not shadow banned right now, but it did happen. I did get shadow banned on Ko-fi for like a day and a half earlier in August. The page is live now. I went back, I removed the offending male nipples, and I took down a product that had the word fuck in the title. I'm pretty sure that covered all the bases. Right, I was bringing up the shopping list so that I would put the refill ink for Cool Gray #1 onto the shopping list. C1 Copic refill. Boop. I'll reply to CB later, but yeah. Put that to sleep. Well, I'm going to color as much as I can here with this Cool Gray. Although this is Cool Gray #1, and I have not used this a whole ton. So this may still have some ink. I don't know if it has enough to fill in all of the windows. Because I have 4 windows, 4 like large windows, a small window, and a glass door that I gotta shade in with this like Cool Gray #1. I hope it has enough ink for me. These have a lot more ink than like Prismacolor markers do, but you gotta use Copics as often as you can, because they can dry out. Pro tip of the day. I do want to try out some of the markers that cmetzner.com on Instagram has shouted out previously. Because every once in a while, a art marker company will just reach out and be like, hey, we want to sponsor your next tutorial video. And they'll send him stuff, and then he'll do a test run of it, and then he'll give like honest feedback about whether he liked it or not. Or they. I really shouldn't presume their pronouns. There we go. Okay. First window, which you can't hardly see because of the lighting. I know, catching up on comments. Darn those offensive nipples. Shake my head. I know. I know. I love that this is now an unrunning joke among my like supporter circles. Just that darn those male nipples. Y'all are awesome. If it were up to me, I would have so many acrylic or enamel pins of just beefy dudes from like the waist up, just to have some male nipples. But I'm also that person that really likes ogling the male physique. One sec. Oh, sorry. I just realized I was about to eat something on camera, but again, probably shouldn't do that. I know, content warning food. Okay. Look at the source image for the ferns. This is one of the brightest greens that I have. Oh. Sometimes I forget, technically, chartreuse is a shade of green. YG13 chartreuse. Catching up on comments. I like soft, squishy men. They are more cuddly. Yes. 2 things to that. First, yes, soft, squishy men are more cuddly. Second, speaking as somebody who has gone out with muscular men, sometimes you forget how soft muscles are, especially when they're not tensed. Like, whenever dudes are not flexing, their muscles are actually really squishy. But yes, big, squishy dudes. Very good for hugging. Like, still can't get over when The Legend of Jamie Roberts started posting online, and one of my patrons saw the big dudes that I was posting that were in the pirate crew, and this particular patron was like, "Oh my god, I love how you drew this man. He is my official love." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, with the big old beer belly and a big old squishy arms. Yes, absolute cuddle bear." Big, thick. I love it though. And yes, he is a very huggable character. For anybody who has a copy of The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1, I don't remember the name that I gave this particular character, but it's the character towards the bottom of the page whom the character description includes the line, "Don't arm wrestle with him, Thomas." That guy. Oop. Oh. I need this Copic gray out of the way while I work on the fern. Now working with this fern is going to be interesting, because I got real deep into the nitty-gritty of drawing out the leaves. Because there's going to be layers of a pale green, like this chartreuse that I'm coloring in, and then there will be layers of darker green for shadows. Okay, good. Okay, this will be a lot more evident as well as the ink dries. I just wanted to make sure that I could still see the line drawings underneath of the Copic ink here. Okay, as far as like drawing men goes, let's just say there's a reason why I made a tribute video to the boys of Dragon Ball Z set to this particular bridge in Lizzo's song Boys. Because I do like drawing those kinds of boys. Not just the Dragon Ball Z boys, but the boys that she shouts out in that bridge. If you don't know what video I'm talking about, you can check it out on my blog, kelseydcrawford.com. Just remove the /links at the end, and you will find the tribute video in there as well. You can also find it on my YouTube channel, and that you can find at kelseydcrawford.com /links. I have been catching up something fierce with posting my Twitch archived streams up on my YouTube channel. And I'm also catching up something fierce with posting those up on my blog site. One thing at a time, yo. Okay, a little thing behind the curtain here. It is really nice to have a bunch of posts for my website just in drafts, sitting in my draft folder, ready to be published at a moment's notice, and just having them like lined up, ready to go, but not hit publish yet. It is really nice to have that backlog. I am somebody who likes having stuff done ahead of time so that the schedule can stay consistent. Now, even though that I said that I would, I've not been doing streams on Instagram as much as, I don't know if I would say as much as I would like, but as much. The thing about Instagram, it's not really made for live streams, particularly how I do them. So I don't think I'll be doing Instagram live streams. To that end, I don't think I would do TikTok live streams either. Both of them necessitate having your phone propped up like this. And yes, it is 347 and I have 92% battery power. Thank you very much. But most... That was a strange blinking light situation going on there. Okay. But like most phones like this, when you do Instagram or TikTok live streams, you have to have the phone angled up like this. However, the tools that I have for holding the phone while live streaming that are not the shadow box angle the phone like this. This is the vlogging setup. This is the streaming setup. Unfortunately, this phone has its microphone on this edge. So I cannot stream using a prop that I have over here on the side because this prop blocks off the microphone so you won't be able to hear me. The vlogging kit that I have is set up to only record with the phone at this angle because it does have a microphone jack, but the microphone jack plugs into the headphone jack, and the headphone jack on this phone is along the top here. So I'm not going to be streaming on Instagram or TikTok is what I'm saying because of technical reasons. I will keep streaming on Twitch at the very least, and I will figure out a way to have OBS connect to Twitch and YouTube so that even if I'm unable to stream onto both channels simultaneously, I would like to have alternating times so that I can stream on YouTube one day and Twitch the next. I would like to get this set up to that point eventually. We'll get there. I do have a shadow box that I take product images with. Like, I'll set up the shadow box to take pictures of stuff that I want to list for sale on my Ko-fi shop. I do have that, and it does have little boxes, like little windows along the top part of the shadow box so that you can put your phone and angle the camera just right so that if you wanted to record something, you could. I have not tried this because the shadow box is large. Maybe one day I will give it a try. We'll see. Back to coloring. Oh, there are pale parts of that particular plant that would be better served with mimosa yellow than chartreuse. Though chartreuse are the, oh geez, I'm pulling out entirely too many markers at this point. Okay, but chartreuse would be like, because this is one of those plants where the leaves have two colors. The inside color is one, and the bordering color is a different one. So the base color for this would be a mimosa yellow, which is the pale, because that's what the inside color is. And then the border color would be the chartreuse that I was just working with. Oh, dang! I'm sorry, I just remembered. This is something I'll need to take care of after the live stream. I gotta run to the eye doctor to pick up my new glasses. Because I had an eye doctor appointment recently. On an official level, my eyes have gotten worse. But that's because I got this pair so long ago that I do not remember when I got these anymore. And I have not been to the eye doctor since. So my eye doctor visit last week was the first time that I went to the eye doctor in I don't know how many years. But in that time frame, I have been doing a lot of staring at computer screens, so I am not surprised that my eyes have gotten worse. So I'm looking forward to the new pair of glasses in that respect. They are a different style. They are a different style than this pair. So when I do get the new pair, I will probably be redrawing the social media icon that I have for my socials. Not by much, just redrawing the glasses frames to keep it consistent. But I may redraw that just to keep that there. Keep that going. I had considered doing like an Alexis look from Roxy and having them like a big old round Coke bottle almost, but for one, they didn't look good on my face, and for another thing, they weren't covered in my insurance, so I just went with a different pair. I really like this new replacement pair. I'm hoping that y'all like it too whenever you get to see it in the unveiling. Now that we have this mimosa yellow done, let's get back to the chartreuse and put that in the border of these leaves here. Oh, oops, there we go. Okay. Oof, we're getting real nitpicky. Nitpicky's not the right word, but we're getting into the itty bitty, gritty, nitty details. If this particular technique weren't such a pain, I would get back into doing pointillism ink drawings. Pointillism ink drawings, however, take an eternity to finish. And I know this because I did a pointillism drawing of Chief Joseph when I was in high school. Could tell you right now that my classmates did not like that I would work on this any waking moment outside of art class, because it was basically a lot of as I worked on it. People did not like that. Oh, catching up on comments. I broke my glasses, still too exhausted from COVID to go get an exam. I get that. Yeah. Sometimes you just don't have the energy, and that's okay. I do hope that you get replacement glasses when the time comes, though. Whenever that may be. I just heard my baby eating her num-nums. That's a good baby. You have to give her positive reinforcement. She is neurotic as heck. That's a good baby. I gave her gravy yesterday because she was a good baby. I'm going to make sure that she gets gravy as much as possible because she does need more liquid in her diet. And honestly, giving her like cat gravy, like gravy made for cats, is the best way to do it. For this kitty. Your mileage may vary depending on your cat. Cool. So we got that done. Let me check the other shades of green here. Oh. I'm gonna work with YG63 pea green for this next plant. Hi, baby. Cue her pacing around my chair like a gray shark. Speaking of fur babies, I need to run away. Gotta take Topaz out to the vet to get her weight checked for flea meds. We'll leave stream up on my laptop while I'm out though. Oh, well, thank you. I hope the vet visit goes well. And I hope that Topaz behaves well for the vet. I can tell you right now, as much as I love my Bree, she's thinking about jumping up in my lap, but she hasn't done it yet. As much as I love my fur baby Bree, she does not like that. She does not like the vet. She really does not.
Oh, there she goes.
Now it's kitty break time.
Hey, baby. Are you going to show your butthole to the entire internet?
Hmm? Mm-hmm. She likes to smush her face into the lip of the drafting table here.
Gonna give me kitty hugs. You're an internet celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's purrs. Oh, there are purrs happening right now. She likes the scritchies. Yes, that's the marker. That's what happens when you smush your nose into it. It gets knocked off balance and makes a noise. Silly baby. We're gonna take a minute to just hang out with the Bree. She's doing very well.
Aren't you, baby?
I did find a tennis ball the other day, and I won't say that Bree loves it, but she does play with it on occasion. And sometimes she'll just lay next to it. She does not love tennis ball in the same way that she loves catnip mousy, but she definitely does like the tennis ball. Which is funny because the tennis ball is like the size of her head.
Yes? Oh, goodness.
This is what she's up to right now. She's just smushing her face into this side of the drafting table.
Oh, purrs.
I don't know if you're hearing the purrs, but there are definitely purrs. She's always had the quietest purrs ever since she was a kitten.
Oh, are you okay? Oh, yeah.
Oh, this particular ear. If you rub it just right, oh yeah, that's the good stuff.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Because her little back leg will start kicking.
That's the good stuff, huh, baby? Yeah.
Oh, she loves the cheek scritchings too.
Oh, that's a good baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh, that's the good stuff, huh, baby? Mm-hmm. Yes, you're getting the good stuff live on camera. No. Kiki happy face.
Probably won't be able to hear the purrs because, again, she's a quiet purr. But she is enjoying this.
Oh yeah. Nose. Cheekies, cheekies.
Sometimes you just gotta take a second to pet your cat. She's soft like petting one of the, like, plushies that you see in the, like, impulse drive aisle section of Michael's or something. Soft like that, if you've ever pet one of those. Oh, you are shedding so much. I gotta brush you. She's shedding her summer coat.
Goodness, are you going to settle?
I don't know if she's going to settle into a loaf yet. She might. She's thinking about it.
Are you going to settle, baby? Oh. Yeah, there she goes.
Settling into a loaf. Yes. Well, I was gonna wrap up the stream here, but I think I'll keep going for a few more minutes because I don't want to deny Kitty break time. But I do also want to color a little bit more.
Oh, purr.
Oh, I gotta keep an eye on the weather. I did see that it was supposed to thunderstorm this afternoon.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, tail thickest. Sometimes when she sits in my lap, her tail will just be like, and I'm just,
Madam.
She does like being in my lap, though. I mean, Scarlet, her sister, would also get into my lap, but for Bree, I am the only person that she will get into a lap for.
Because I am her human. Yeah. It's a good baby.
Of course, it also helps that I did not give her any medicine when she was a kitten. When she was a kitten, she had a upper respiratory infection. So we had to, and by we, I mean my sisters, had to give her medication orally as a kitten. And she would try to hide to not take the medicine. But we kept the kittens when they were like,
Oh, excuse you.
she had to burp.
Oh, is that a weepy eye?
She's been getting weepy eyes. I don't like that she's been getting weepy eyes. Oh. Sitting here wondering where I would get a rag, and I have one right here.
Yeah. Let's get those eye boogers.
She gets weepy eyes every once in a while.
Yeah. Make sure that your sinuses are clear and that you can breathe.
Because kitties have to breathe through their nose. They can't breathe through their mouth. But when she was a kitten, she would try to hide from us so that she wouldn't get the medicine. And so we would go into the room where we were keeping the kittens at the time. And we would be like, hold on, stop. Let's listen. Because when she would try to hide, we could hear a very subtle because she sounded like a kazoo when she exhaled. It was very cute, and it made it really easy to find her when she was trying to hide. It did not last forever, though. Oh yeah, there's definitely purrs happening right now. It helped that I removed her eye boogers.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just petting. There you go. Yep.
Kitty break time. Oh. Again, I gotta brush you. Good golly, Mr. Molly. I'm trying to keep an eye on the weather too. It's supposed to rain in this hour, but we'll see.
Oh, yes. What do your elf eyes see, madam?
The upstairs neighbors have been driving Bree Bree and Boo Boo a little bit bonkers. Particularly, like, whenever they thump around. Yeah.
They're doing okay right now, though, humbly.
Something went off on my phone. I'm gonna see what it was. Oh, okay. Just my comics buddy. My comics buddy Ben texting me, letting me know how Columbus Oktoberfest is going, because he and some cartoonists from the Columbus Cartooning Coalition are showcasing at the Columbus Oktoberfest this weekend. So shout out to those peeps.
Oh, are you done? Okay.
Kitty break time's over.
She is a pretty kitty.
Yeah, Ben's still doing pretty good. We have not done a joint live stream for a while, so we really should do that. I'll reach out to him and see what weekend he has free that he would like to join me on a live stream for. That said, we have been talking about doing live streams again soon for an upcoming anthology that we've been working on. What the Gnomes Know, a gnome comics anthology, coming soon. One sec. So much cat hair right now. Putting that C1 marker back. Okay. But yeah, catching up on comments. You two are great together on live streams. Oh, thank you. It does help to keep the conversation going whenever the both of us are on a stream together. I honestly really like having a co-host on live streams, podcasts, what have you. That's why I've been talking with my buddy Sean about possibly doing a podcast with him. We haven't nailed down yet what it would be about, but we've been talking about doing a podcast for a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping we can get something together and figure it out soon. Okay. So this is what has been done so far. We got some plants coming in along the bottom there. And I would color in the next window, but I gotta get the plants first. That is a more vibrant green than I expected. But it works. I'm going to be working with G7 Nile green for this next step. But yeah, Ben and I are talking about doing some joint live streams together to help promote the Gnome anthology that we've been working on for a while now. More details to come the closer we get to the Kickstarter launch date. Hold on, let me double check the source image here. Okay. The rest of that is actually going to use the green that I was just working with, which is pea green, YG63. And I want to get the plants down here to make coloring in the windows next much easier. I missed a section for Nile green. There. Okay. Back to the pea green. And okay. Pea green for most of these except for one little shoot. The reason I did the pencils digitally and I'm doing the colors traditionally is because I wanted to focus more on the process of coloring this piece, not just the drawing. Okay. I think that's it for the pea green. That actually gets chartreuse. Yeah, it gets chartreuse. Pretty sure. Yes. Yes, it does. Okay, there, that'll make coloring in the windows much easier. Oh, I missed something in the mimosa yellow. So I'm nailing that real quick before I start the windows. There. Checking the reference image. I think we're good there. Okay. Here's what's done so far. Yeah. Now granted, the windows have not been colored in completely, and they're still going to take multiple stages because there's reflections in them, but this is what I've got so far. And this is just the base colors. We'll be adding in shadows later. I'm putting in what I would call the highlight layers first, working light to dark here, which is opposite of how you would do acrylic or oil paintings, for the record. When you're doing oil or acrylic, you want to work dark to light. When you're working with markers or watercolors, it's best done light to dark. Reason for that is because paper is already a pale surface for opaque mediums like marker and watercolors. It's also easier to add shades. It's easier to add shades in watercolors and markers than it is to try to lift up colors. Unless you're working with gel pens or a white acrylic, which you can do. I don't often do it, but you can do it. getting into the nooks and crannies for this window first. I think it colored in a spot with gray that I shouldn't have, but oh well, we're sticking with it. Thankfully, this is a cool gray number 1. It can be easy to put a different color in its place. I'm sure these are delightful sounds to hear on the microphone. Okay. Tea. Okay. Well, that's all the tea that I have. So I cannot spill any more. All right, I'm going to set this aside. Just for now. I don't usually put my used mugs there, but... Well, I think there is a good place to wrap this up, because these paintings are going to take a whole lot longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. They always do. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. I know I threw a lot at you during this particular stream. So in too long didn't watch terms, some stuff has been going on with Patreon behind the scenes, so I am pausing my Patreon, looking into alternatives that are not Ko-fi. So feel free to let me know if you would like to see, like, buy me a coffee, because that's a thing. There's a thing called buymeacoffee.com. It functions a lot like Ko-fi, but without a lot of the fees. If you would like to see that, shout it out. If you would like me to set up my own, like, kind of subscription thing, I could totally do that too. Let me know about that too. So, giving some thought to that as well. Considering making a big cartel store, making some new stuff for... These illustrations are for a show that I'm preparing for, so I'm getting that ready. Anything else that I talked about this particular stream? Bree's doing well. Oh gosh, I can't remember everything that was talked about in this particular stream. But I'll give another shout out, because this is something I've made posts about in other places, but I will clarify it here. So the Dragon Baby Pride keychain campaign that I've been running, I have extended it beyond its original 3-day run. It was originally only going to run for 3 days. However, here's the full story. The campaign is being run not on Kickstarter, but on Crowdfunder. Crowdfunder is sponsoring Small Press Expo this year. And when I spoke with the representative from Crowdfunder, they said that they would be willing to help promote my campaign by giving creator shoutouts, tagging me on social media, making promotional bookmarks to give away during Small Press Expo, that sort of thing. They said they would be willing to do that if I had the campaign running through Small Press Expo. And my original plan with the Dragon Baby keychains was to wrap it up like after the first weekend of September, like the day after Labor Day. That was the original plan. However, because of sponsorships and that sort of thing, I am extending the pre-order window. So now, the Dragon Baby Pride Keychain crowdfunding campaign is running until September 18th. September 18th is the last day of Small Press Expo. So, if you have not gotten a pride flag in the shape of a baby dragon as a keychain, you can still do that by going to crowdfunder.com/dragon-baby. That's crowdfundr.com/dragon-baby. You can find the link at the top of the screen here. And if all else fails, you can go to kelseydcrawford.com/links. It's the top one there. I revamped the links page because I realized a lot of the links were not working. They're all working now. So there you go. Fixed it. Okay, again, you have until September 18th to get your keychains. If you have already gotten keychains, great. Please keep spreading the word, because now we're running this campaign through September 18th. The more that we raise, the more pride flag designs that we unlock. We are real close to getting transgender pride flag dragon babies made into keychains. We are very close to that. We haven't reached that goal yet, so help us get there by going to crowdfunder.com/dragonbaby. You can mix and match your own rewards packages as well as an incentive to help you decide. If there's a reward that you would like to see on there, I'm open to words. I am open to suggestions. Wow, I'm pooped. I better wrap this up. So thank you all for watching. I will be streaming again this upcoming Tuesday at 2 p.m. on this channel. Saturday, I will not be streaming because I will be at Small Press Expo that day. If I do stream, it may be one of the rare times that I stream on Instagram or TikTok, because I'll be able to have the phone upright like this. But we will see. Don't expect a live stream on Saturday, though. Tuesday, yes. Saturday, probably not. But we'll reiterate that when the time comes. If you would like to check out anything else that I do, just go to kelseydcrawford.com/links. You'll find my social medias and my webcomics up there. I'm also available for commissions. If anybody would like to help me get a new travel easel for another gig that I got coming up in October. Because I still need to get an easel. That's all I got for now. I will see you Tuesday if you are able to join in this channel, 2 p.m. Tuesday. If not, you'll find me everywhere else on the internet through kelseydcrawford.com/links. Thank you all so much for watching. You are awesome.